Hi, my name's William Earnhardt, and I have another quick Christmas season devotional for you. I believe Joseph is probably one of the most underrated characters in the Bible. And what I mean by that is, I don't think we really appreciate or grasp what a righteous man he was. And I want us to see what I'm talking about here in Matthew chapter 1, beginning with verse 19. It says, "This is how Jesus, the Messiah, was born. His mother, Mary, was engaged to be married to Joseph. But before the marriage took place, while she was still a virgin, she became pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. Joseph, to whom she was engaged, was a righteous man and did not want to disgrace her publicly, so he decided to break the engagement quietly." Now here Joseph is thinking he's been done wrong, but he doesn't want to get even with Mary. He doesn't want to embarrass her. Instead, he seeks to just quietly let her go her own way. This is quite commendable, because today so many times when somebody's been done wrong, they want to air it out for the whole world to know, I've been done wrong and look what this person did to me. But yet that's not Joseph. Joseph had the character of Jesus, and that is trying to save other people's dignity and not trying to embarrass or humiliate them. When the woman taken in adultery was brought to Jesus, Jesus would not condemn her. He saved her dignity. And even in reaching the men who had trapped her and done something very despicable, he wrote in the sand so that only they would get that message. We don't know, even today, we don't know what Jesus wrote that day in the sand. And that's the way it's supposed to be. The message was for those men. He wanted to reach them without publicly disgracing them or embarrassing them. Jesus performed his first miracle, turning water into wine, simply to save a host from public embarrassment. It would not have killed them to drink water that day. But Jesus did that miracle simply to save the host from embarrassment so that he could save his dignity. And here Joseph has that same spirit that Jesus had, wanting to save the dignity of others, not wanting to publicly embarrass Mary. And so we read on here in verse 20, "As he considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream. 'Joseph, son of David,' the angel said, 'do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child within her was conceived by the Holy Spirit. And she will have a son, and you're to call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins.'" All of this occurred to fulfill the Lord's message through his prophet. "Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. When Joseph woke up, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded and took Mary as his wife. Now, when I look at this story, it's no wonder Joseph thought, that Mary had been having an affair. It was quite obvious. She was with child. But yet, even with all the evidence that Joseph had, he was still wrong. He was still jumping to conclusions. And that just makes me think, if Joseph could be wrong with all the evidence that he had, how many times have we been wrong when we've judged somebody else, thinking we had plenty of evidence? And how many times when we have that evidence do we jump to conclusions instead of asking people for the full story. In Daniel chapter 3, there's a story about a pagan king, and I mean, he was pagan. And he was going to throw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. Actually, he was going to throw anybody in the fiery furnace who did not bow down to his image. Well, the report came to him that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego wouldn't bow down. Instead of just saying, oh, throw them in the furnace. Instead, he calls them to him and he says, is it true that you will not bow down? As pagan and sinful and terrible as this king was, Nebuchadnezzar, he still had the wisdom and the integrity, if you want to call it that, to go straight to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and ask them, is it true? How many times, even in the church, do we jump to conclusions thinking we have all the evidence? I don't need to ask the person, I already know. When maybe we don't know. I mean, Joseph thought he knew that Mary had an affair. I mean, what more evidence could you need? But yet he was still wrong. Even a pagan king, Nebuchadnezzar, in Daniel 3, knew to go to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ask them directly, is it true that you will not bow down? Friends, we should have more integrity than a pagan king. And when we think we have all the evidence about somebody, we should still go to them and ask them, is it true? Joseph found out that that child, Jesus, the child that Mary had, was conceived of the Holy Spirit. Joseph realized that Mary had done nothing wrong. She was still a virgin. And Joseph, being a man of God, accepted that. Joseph, being a man of God, even if he had been right, was not going to publicly embarrass Mary. And that's why I believe that Joseph is one of the most godly men in the Bible. He definitely deserved to be the earthly father of Jesus. I would love to hear from you if you have any questions or comments. You can also reach me directly at racer3@gmail.com. You spell out the 3, so it's RACERTHREE @gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you are enjoying a wonderful and blessed Christmas season. God bless you.